Tyre change. Crompton.
Bradley Jones, I think, at the wheel. Seven rejoins in position number 25.
Last lap time for Glenn Seaton, 2 minutes 19.9.
And you'll notice, look here on the inside, Win Percy. And Brocky moves up on the Nissan as well. They're trying to smother it across the top of Mount Panorama.
And the second Larry Perkins car also takes price. 3 cars through in about a 200-metre distance. I wonder if there's a problem there, or Drew's just being extra conservative.
I would say Drew is being conservative at this stage. They don't want him to get involved in this.
That was pretty heady stuff from the Holdens through them, sneaking through in the one section. But Win Percy is really on a charge.
And John Bowe in the 18 Shell car has picked up 2 seconds. On second place getter Mark Gibbs on the last lap. So there's a big battle developing there for second place behind Jim Richards as well.
The approach shot now to Caltech's Chase, where they are absolutely flat strap. Now down on the brakes through the gears. Win Percy closes up on the tail of the Pride of Queensland, but gets it sideways. And out goes Percy. Will he hit the wall? He saves it. Brakes are locked on. Percy has been able to save that, the 16 car.
But there is damage on that front right-hand guard. Look at that. The tyre is almost rubbing there. That is expensive for HRT. Let's see if Percy comes into the pits.
Well, he should come in immediately.
Yeah, the tyre is rubbing. You can see smoke coming off the front tyre, but he's going to do another lap. Now, this will be critical to the result of this car in this race. I'm sure he's not aware that he has this problem. And if he cuts a tyre, he is in big trouble.
Let's have a look at it. Our race cam replay courtesy of Prima Holidays. Win Percy getting totally out of shape and off the infield.
He's done it all by himself. Overcooked it coming into the chase. Deary me. Now, HRT have some problems very early in the race.
Well, he had all 4 locked on. He didn't want to tail that into the wall. Now, if he can get another lap out of it, but if it cuts through the tyre, he's got a major problem.
And back towards the front, John Bowe has passed Mark Gibbs and is in second place and pursuing Jim Richards.
This is nail-biting stuff for Holden Racing Team. This tyre is being cut by the guard at some stages. You can see the smoke rubbing off it. It won't be so bad on the corners where the car's way the other way. But as he loads the car up coming into the left-handers, the tyre's getting a workout. Now, I'm sure with the advanced communication system they have with the pits, Percy would be now aware that he's got this problem. And let's just have the fingers crossed he can make it around to the pits on this lap.
Of course, all of the teams have the output of our 7 network broadcast. And even if Win was unaware, one of the crew members would be able to see off the monitor the problems. And I would dare say they'd be calling Win to the pits, some of the refuse off to the side of the circuit, as Percy comes down beneath the Subaru bridge, down towards the dipper.
More Commodore dramas. The Brock pit are ready with tyres. Plenty of activity down there, so we may see one of the mobile cars in very shortly as well.
Jim Richards continues to lead the race. John Bowe running second. There's been another change behind them, though. Glenn Seaton is in third spot. Now Mark Gibbs dropping back to fourth. The gap between first and second, Richards to Bowe, is only 10.9 seconds.
There is the second place man, John Bowe, the Shell car 18. Running very strongly in second place in this opening parts of the race.
2 laps in succession now. He's taken around 2 seconds out of the leader.
An interesting strategy this by the Shell team. They originally had Bowe and Johnson entered for the 1 car. But as qualifying worked its way through the week, Bowe decided to pick up on car 18. So we've got Bowe in 18 car and Dick Johnson in the 17 car.
That was very generous of you to say that. I don't know whether John Bowe actually decided. In fact, I don't think he was all that happy about it.
Well, they've been setting some pretty hot laps all week, and look at these Conrod speeds, courtesy of Altrex. 283 for John Bowe in the Sierra, 282 for Gibbs, that's interesting, and 281 for the Commodore. So at this stage, from the race trim, the car's quite evenly matched on Conrod Straight.
Race cam in the Bond, Crosby, Caltex, Sierra. Hot in pursuit of Charlie O'Brien in the Synovus entry at the bottom of Conrod Straight. Take the left-hand turn now into Pit Straight. This is where they all started from not so long ago.
This will give you at home a great view of the circuit here at Mount Panorama as we ride on top of Colin Bond's Caltech CXT Sierra. He's trying to catch Charlie O'Brien in the Moffat car. Was very, very close a while ago. It's opened up just a little bit, I think probably due to traffic. And Colin, the former Great Race winner, carrying 2 race cams today. This is view 1 that we'll show you. Heading through Repco, and there's the second one that is mounted on the side of the door. This will give you an idea of how close they go to the walls here. We'll stay with this across Skyline, see just how quickly over the white line, coming up to Tui's turn. Left hand a kink here. Now the track dips away to the right here. The fast line is the inside, just almost shaved. Now down towards the dipper. Close, isn't it? Great pitches. Now down to Mazda corner. And for the run down Conrod Straight, we'll take the other angle on top of the roof. And here's the 18 car coming into the pits now. And John Brady is our man on the scene.
Yeah, what this one's all about is trying to make sure that they can eventually pair Dick Johnson and John Bowe in the one car. The reasoning was at the start they'd put them in 2 cars, figure which car was going to be the best, and then pair them in that car. Both cars are going well. They've decided now to get Bowe out of this one early so they can get him teamed up with Dick Johnson from now on. It is scheduled. They're doing it very well. Not a hitch in sight. Just waiting to strap up Paul Radicic now. Won't take a second, and we'll be back in action. The interesting thing perhaps is that they're a little happy in the Sierra camp as to how the pressure they're managing to put on to the Nissans. They were afraid the Nissans may have got further away than they have, and that's why they want Bowe and Johnson together.
Thank you, John, for that. The number 25, B&H BMW. Longhurst now just passing 1. That moves him to 9th with that pit stop. That's not a bad effort, is it?
It's a very big effort indeed, and depending on how things pan out towards the end of the race, they're going to be lurking right there. The BMW started from 14th position on the grid, so he's muscled his way past a few.
He's a great little driver, Tony, doing a good job too.
The Golson car there, the one we saw in the pits a few moments ago, getting the go by from the BMW M3.
Car number 7 is the Holden Racing Team Commodore. Positioned 16th on the road after a costly pit stop a little earlier. There's 2 very bright youngsters sharing the cockpit. Our own Neils on wheels and dual Oscar champ Brad Jones. How's it going, Bradley?
Hi, Mike.
What was the problem earlier for the pit stop?
Well, I was listening to you say how bright Neil and I were, and this bright boy hit the wall.
You're able to get in, get out fairly quickly. Being such a long race, I guess being back to 16th and able to pick them up doesn't perturb you too much.
The trick is picking them up, but I let Larry by. The car was getting a bit hot behind Bondi, and what's happening here? Jesus, this is interesting.
Just talk to us when you can, don't worry.
Yeah, just a hazard of long race with a lot of cars. Actually, if you just pan left, I hit right there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, a bit of a bother, isn't it? I shudder every time I come by. I let Larry by, and I just drifted out a touch wide and kissed the wall, cracked a couple of rims, and a tyre went flat. So it was a pretty quick stop, and hopefully it hasn't affected our chances of a decent result. But I shouldn't imagine Cromley's doing too much smiling in the pits about now.
Car 2, Nissan, as scheduled, comes into the pits.
Okay, Peter McKay.
Thanks, Mike. It's a regular pit stop for car 2, the first of the 2 factory Nissans to pit. Gary Walden isn't getting into the car. Drew Price is going to stay there, obviously, to do an extended stint. New tyres going on, and close to 120 litres of fuel. But a very smooth stop for Nissan. All Gary Walden could do during that stop was replenish Drew Price's fuel bottle.
Okay, thank you, Peter. We already have David Parsons. The number 35 car is in the pits for his pit stop.
Car 2, which we just saw in the pits, was in 6th position when it came in, rejoined the race in 14th place.
And it's all starting to happen. Word is the mobile pit are ready as well, so they're all starting to come in for the first of their scheduled stops.
So David Parsons out of the car and Wayne Park in the car now. Peter Brock in and out of the car. About to step in is Andrew Madecki.
Again, we've got Andrew Madecki jumping into the car. Brock out. Pretty furious stop. The windscreen's getting a bit of a clean-up. But again, a scheduled stop. Bit of a trouble with the seat harness with Brock helping Madecki at the moment. On the stop.
He gave it a nice... Oh.
And about $7,000 to get it off the line.
Yes, I was going to say the problem with the tyres, he's probably flat spotted them.
Meanwhile, dramas for number 2. It's just come in for the first of its stops, and a very slow lap trickling around. Drew Price remained in the car, and he's back in the pits 1 lap later.
Well, Freddie Gibson just a few moments ago told Peter McKay they were cruising. They're not cruising quite so well now. Jim Richards maybe, but not the 2 car.
We don't have a problem. We don't have the information what the problem may be, and Fred will be fairly selective about that until Peter is there to discuss it with him. But needless to say, the number 2 car coming back into the pits.
And we just have word from the pits, the second mobile car should be coming in very shortly as well.
Take it away, Peter.
Thanks, Mike. Fred Gibson is just discussing whatever problem the car has with driver Drew Price. There's an electric fan at the front of the car suggesting there could be an overheating problem. This is a problem with turbo cars during pit stops, and conventional wisdom has it that you put an electric fan at the front of the car just to keep everything cooled down. But once the problem's resolved, I'll grab Fred Gibson and just discover exactly what the problem is.
Yeah, stay on that one, Pete. Thank you.
While you're investigating that, Peter McKay, the 3rd Shell Team car, car 19, has come to the pits. There's a driver change taking place there as well.
So Kane Scott is out and Greg Taylor going in. That's the Kiwi combination.
Boy, there's certainly mixing up on the circuit now. Tony Longhurst in the Benson Hedges BMW now up to 7th position. How's that, folks? 1 minute, 8 seconds. The Nissan's been in the pits. This is a tragedy for the second car.
Meantime, the Shell car's been and gone. Long gone. There it goes, in fact. Jim Richards trouble-free at the head of affairs. 12-second break at this time over the second place getter, Glenn Seaton, in the number 30, Peter Jackson Sierra. Still a comfortable cushion, but maybe not as comfortable as was expected. One car we're expecting to come in on lap 33, so that's only 2 laps away. So stand by for more hustle and bustle on pit lane.
Colin Bond rejoined the race after a 48-second stop. And the number 2 Nissan rejoined the circuit after being in the pits for 2 minutes, 14 seconds. So at this early stage in the race, the Nissan race plan has already been upset.
And the Nissan crew just got bare moments to catch their breath before Jim Richards comes in. Nissan number 2 is now in 25th position.
Time for the pit stops, and here comes Wyn Percy in car number 16. John Brady, see Wyn taking the belts off already. Take it away, Johnny Brady.
Thanks very much, Mike. It's a scheduled stop. They're pretty happy with the way things are running at the moment. Alan Grice hopping inside the car now. They've been pretty happy with the way they've been able to get the car going over the last couple of days, and it seems to be running okay out there. Bar a couple of little troubles early, a bit of fender damage from that earlier mention that we had. They're just doing a bit of panel beating up front, but they're out now, and it's a pretty quick stop. Fuel just going out, and Alan Grice back on the track.
Thank you very much, John. That was a quickie too.
That was a super duper stop. Got it at 22 seconds,
yeah,
21 seconds.
And
yeah.
as you can see, Larry Perkins also in the pit. Wyn Percy 6th when he came to the pits. Grice now in the car rejoins in 11th place. Hope you can keep track of all this.
Well, it all happened so quickly. Oops. Now Thomas Mazera has stepped into Larry's car. Very talented young driver, Thomas Mazera. There's Jimmy Richards, car number 1. Is bound for the pits, and here he comes. The 2 cars still sitting in there stranded. Peter McKay is down there. Jim already slipping the belts off. Take it away, Pete.
Thanks, Mike. Yes, it's a scheduled stop. Refueling. I nearly went through on the bottom of the Nissan, managed to escape that. No problems at all from Gary Brabham. Is that? Oh, there is a problem. No. There is a wheel hub rolling around in the middle of pit lane, but I think it's one from the Jim Richards car.
Any problems you've been able to find out about the Drew Price number 2 car?
Mike, Fred Gibson said they couldn't find anything wrong. Drew reported the car was wandering around coming down Conrod Straight, and he made the precautionary pit stop to check on it, but the boys couldn't find anything, and Fred thinks it could be just that the tyres are cold, and he sent him back out for another check.
Richards, of course, came into the pits leading the race, handed over to Mark Skaife. He has now rejoined the event running in 4th position. So that would put the young Victorian, Glenn Seaton in the Peter Jackson Sierra, up into the lead, car number 30.
Reasonably slick stop that was too for the number 1 Nissan, just under 30 seconds.
Yes, Seaton leads from Mark Gibbs in the GIO Nissan GTR, followed by Dick Johnson, and then Wyn Percy and Tony Longhurst. Well, Longhurst now in 5th position. Obviously, he's getting the benefit of these early pit stops from the other teams.
Right now, we've got the number 4 GIO Nissan and was running
second
in 2nd spot.
2 Nissans back again.
Number 2 trickles back into the pits. There are problems. Drew Price certainly not happy with the number 2 car.
Well, it was showing as about running 22nd on the road. It's now gone in for yet another pit stop. So if this was the backup car in case anything went wrong with the 1 car, they've got a major problem. They've run out of cars.
Now, when he first came into the pits, they were looking at the front end only. Now they're looking at all 4 corners of the car. The air jacks take it up, and there's obviously concern with the mechanical setup of the car.
Well, this is going to place even more responsibility and pressure on the shoulders of Jim Richards at the wheel of the number 1 car now.
It's been a pretty long stop from the GIO Nissan team as well.
Mark Skaife, in fact, now at the wheel of that car, but that pair.
Looks like the 10 car coming in now. Charlie O'Brien, the Alan Moffat Synovus Vitamin Sierra. Charlie stepping out of the car. And helping in Gianfranco Brancatelli.
GIO car 4 rejoined the race in 9th position, and that pad change took them just over a minute.
Peter McKay still down in the Nissan pits. What's the latest, Pete?
Well, it's all go down here in pit lane, Mike. Car 10, the Alan Moffat Synovus car, is in looks like a conventional pit stop with Gianfranco Brancatelli taking over from Charlie O'Brien. Car 2, the Nissan backup car, is back in for more exploratory surgery. There doesn't appear to be any answers to their problems. And
see if you can get one, because at the moment we're following the pit stop of the race leader. Moffat car has rejoined, running 12th with Gianfranco Brancatelli at the wheel. And here is Glenn Seaton handing over to Greg Hansford in the Peter Jackson number 30 Ford Sierra. John Brady, our man on the spot.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Another scheduled one. All the Sierras coming in at around the 33 laps. In fact, most of the cars will, the exception of the BMWs. Hansford straight in there. Very quick and tidy stop, this one. Very impressive. Greg Hansford back on the track.
Oh, goodness me. They're looking at everything on the 4-wheel drive transmission. Crew chief talking to Drew Price, trying to figure out exactly what the problem is.
There's a lot of shouting and toing and froing going on down there in the Nissan pit, and I don't think they're any the wiser.
Here's Freddie Gibson.
The man with the weight of Bathurst responsibility on those shoulders. And this would not be good for Freddie this early in the race.
Well, of course, with all the changes, the pit stops, that's pole vaulted Dick Johnson up to the race lead in the number 17 car. And here comes Dick Johnson up Mountain Straight. Dick's even got time to wave to all the guys. Does it quite comfortably.
Well, our pre-race information had Johnson coming in at 40 laps. That's really stretching the economy of a Ford Sierra. We're still 5 laps away from that point now, but in the shell pits, John Bow is ready and waiting, so I imagine they'll come in a little bit earlier than that.
And after a frightful season of tailgating the Nissans and some problems with trying to make the Sierra very competitive, Queensland's favourite son now finds himself leading the great race.
He certainly has had some tough times in the Australian Touring Car Championship over the last 3 years, but his finishing record in Sierras at Bathurst is surprisingly good. He was second in 88, he won the race in 89, and one of his team cars at least was second here last year. The Johnson team are pretty well on the pace at Bathurst.
Number 2, Nissan, by the way, is back in the race. Whether they've found the problem and solved it or not, it's another matter, but it's back out there, but way, way, way down the field.
I was just mentioning the high-speed economy run that the Shell team are trying to do. I'm told that the plan is to hold the car in 5th gear as they go across the top of the mountain to reduce the revs and get the maximum economy out of the car, which is probably a good ploy, because if they can pull 2 or 3 extra laps out of the car, they'll probably get through on 3 stops, which will be a huge advantage.
Dick down to Caltech's chase.
Car 2, Nissan has rejoined the race back in position 30, so they dumped an awful lot of time.
Race leader Dick Johnson heads towards the pits on lap number 38 of 161, about ready to hand over to John Bow. They've been rehearsing a lot of pit stops here at Mount Panorama during the week. The Johnson team, in he comes. Belts are already undone. Johnson out of the car. John Bow steps straight in.
Prima Holidays pit report. There's no holiday though for John Bow. He's earning his money today.
Certainly is today. Topping it up with gas. Fresh rubber. Dunlop's all round for the number 17 car.
Been in the pits for 20 seconds. The arms are up. Just wait for the refueling, which is usually the slowest part of these stops. Johnson still plugging Bow in. Bow on the ground and out in 30 seconds. A good stop from the Shell team.
But that means they've surrendered the lead to car number 1, Mark Skaife, the Nissan GTR, back in front. Johnson, as I said, was the race leader, and with Bow now at the wheel, rejoins in 4th place. Richards leads the race, or Skaife leads the race, by 22 seconds from car 30, Glenn Seaton Sierra, followed by Tony Longhurst in 3rd place.
I see one parked up there on the inside on the approach to the cutting. There's the Ray Lintott, John English, Valvoline Sierra.
Tony Longhurst has not been in for a change. Car 25, the BMW, he holds down 3rd spot. 4th position, car 17, John Bow now at the wheel. I'm about to change what I just said because Brad Jones is coming in. He'll get out. Neil Crompton will get in. So Tony Longhurst will be the only driver in the top 10 not to have swapped over.
Cameron Williams is our man on the spot. Cam?
Yes, Brad Jones has just got out of the Holden car, and Neil Crompton has just taken the seat. He's a little bit concerned that they've been pushed down the order for this routine stop because of that early stop they had on lap 4 when they clipped the wall going up through Caltech's chase. But he said the car's running very smoothly and they're quite satisfied with this race at this stage.
Out of there.
Let's see if Neil can hear us again. Can you hear us, Crompton?
Hello, is someone speaking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you.
Oh, hello, boss. How's it going?
Not too bad, son.
Is that check in the mail?
It is, and we love you.
How's it going over there?
Bradley Jones handed the car over. I won't ask you how it feels because it's a familiar lap for you. But you've crept up into the top 10, and he said the car felt reasonably good.
Old Beast feels all right, although he's done a bit of a job on the wheel alignment. Thanks, Brado. Yeah, it all feels okay. It's good to have a steer. I hate standing around. We'll get past this smouldering you-know-what. These blokes have been an accident going somewhere to happen all week. And there it is again. Holden power. Yeah, so everything's looks and feels all right. All the numbers are really smart in the car at the moment, Mike.
Neil,
and hopefully we can settle into a reasonable routine here.
Neil, the Nissan race times have been like 2:17s, 2:18s. Does that surprise you?
No, not at all. Nissan's a bigger tennis racket, isn't it?
Here we are. The Benson Hedges BMW, the critical stop.
Okay, let's take it away, Cameron Williams.
Yes, Alan Jones about to take over from Tony Longhurst here with the BMW. Although there was a lot of pre-race speculation that they'd pit a lot later than this, the team is saying that this is exactly to plan, and they're very happy with the operation of the entire unit at this stage. But it does take a little bit away from the pre-race predictions that the BMWs should stay on the track for a lot longer than they have.
Fairly orderly stop there, Cameron. Jones is in the car. He's a little beefier than Tony Longhurst.
Yes, he needs his own seat. He's got the special Recaro outfit there that's custom made for the former world champion.
Well, I tell you what, if Longhurst has given the car a caning for the opening 40 laps, you can expect Jones to be able to step it up a notch or two as well, because he can drive all day at the same pace.
I came in one lap earlier than what I was supposed to, but as I was going up the straight, you start to get very conscious of the gauges, and I thought I saw the fuel pressure gauge move. I thought the other car was going to come in about lap 42 or 43. So the boys should have had a bit of a breather, but anyhow.
It looks like the product car has gone into the wall, or the tyre wall at the top of the mountain. Let's have a look at this with our Prima Holiday replay. 33. Oh, dearie me. He's launched that. That's the Pearson Stewart car. Bob Pearson.
Bruce Stewart.
And veteran Bruce Stewart, who's been here for a number of years.
What a shame.
And that has really tweaked the front and the rear of the car.
05, the Peter Brock Mobile Commodore is in trouble. Andrew Madecki at the wheel. He's stopped on the climb up toward the cutting.
He's got nothing going there.
No. That 5-litre V8 is dead as a doornail. Madecki's unplugging. There's obviously nothing he can do up there. So the man they call the Mountain Master has had yet another tragic Bathurst.
We have no fuel pressure. I've been giving it a break, and the 15 seconds doesn't help. What do you want me to do next?
Andrew taking instructions from the pits.
Already tried. Yes, no fuel pressure.
And there's the Peter Brock, and with him Peter McKay.
Thanks very much. Peter Brock, a rather bemused Peter Brock, watching proceedings on television. Your car looks like it has a fuel pressure problem, Pete.
Yes, well, that would probably be straight out of an electrical connection, I'd imagine. And at the moment, it's quite interesting to stand here listening to Andrew explaining on television he's got no fuel pressure, and we're going through a test procedure with him to try the reserves and everything else, but he's done that. I don't know what he can do at the moment. We'll wait and see.
Larry Perkins, the engineer of the two mobile cars. They are talking to Madecki in the car. Perkins asking what is wrong.
John Heckworth, one of the team technicians there, trying to talk with Madecki and see if he can get the car mobile again. Very disappointed Peter Brock in the background. Number 2 Nissan back in the pits. And the bonnet's up this time.
Yes, the point here is that the problem doesn't seem to be serious, and it's just very bad luck, and obviously pulls this car anyway out of contention.
Yes, it puts a lot of pressure on the one car to run fault-free for the rest of the day.
It's astonishing that the team has had such a perfect week, and yet come race day, these problems can arise.
On lap 59 rather, of the great race, Alan Grice at the wheel of the 16 Holden team car, just slipping by one of the Synovus Alan Moffat entries, and flying.
After Wyn Percy's spin earlier on, that car's now been hauled back up through the field, and that's the Sala Lusty car. Another Sierra that's lost a wheel by the looks of things.
Well, they've had considerable problems with this car today. They had turbo damage earlier that kept them in the pits for a considerable while. Shuffled them right back to the back of the field, and they're in serious problem. Can't see until they come around the next curve what the problem is. Front right, by the look of it, it's either missing altogether or it's missing altogether, all right.
Oh, there's doing some damage there. Lower ball joint on the suspension being ground away. And they might have troubles when they get back into the pits. There'll be a lot of work there.
as into the pits comes the 18 car.
Radicic getting out of the car.